Evanston, where tonight the Northwestern Wildcats are home to take on the Michigan Wolverines. Big Ten basketball powered by Ram trucks. Nothing stops Ram. With Jordan Taylor and Andy Katz, I'm Kevin Kugler. Good to have you with us tonight from Evanston, Illinois, as we get set for this matchup between number 2 Michigan and unranked Northwestern. Our starting lineups are powered by Ram trucks. Nothing stops Ram. And 5 players for Michigan that any one of them could play a major role in this game. And for Northwestern, it's Nick Martinelli trying to lead the way for the Cats to an upset against the number 2 team in the land. A number 2 team, Jordan Taylor, that as of next week could be the number 1 team in the land. Arizona losing earlier this week. You've got to think that Michigan, if they take care of business this week, moves up to number 1, which gets you thinking about a national championship potential for Michigan basketball. So what would be the ticket? What does this team have to do over the next month to win a national title come late March, early April?
Well, number 1 is keep doing the things they're doing. They're top 10 in 6 defensive categories. But then number 2 is establish a go-to guy. Their greatest strength could be their greatest weakness late in March or late in this month as well. When you have 4 different guys who've led them in scoring over the past 4 games, who do you go to when it gets tight? Is it Cadeau? Is it Lendenberg? Who is it? That's the main thing for them. But then also tonight they have to focus on, don't lose sight of what your goal is. Nick Martinelli is a guy who can get loose and cause a lot of problems, lead the Big Ten in scoring. If he can find good matchups for Northwestern and they can start making some shots, they could make it a game.
Adai Mara will jump it up against the freshman Trey Singleton. And we are underway tonight at Welsh Ryan Arena. Elliot Cadeau to work for Michigan. So big, this Michigan team, size across the board. And the potential for any one of these 5 on the floor to beat you. There's Damari Burnett, 8 to shoot for Burnett. Back out to Cadeau, sizing up a 3 and he hits.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're Northwestern. That's a great start defensively, but that's what makes Michigan a national title contender right there. Good patience, the stunt, and Cadeau shoots that from over here by us.
So now Jaden Reed will set up Northwestern in the offensive zone. Tyler Kropp looking for Martinelli. Right now being guarded by Axel Lendeborg. Drop off in the paint to Kropp, fading over Mara, and he can't get it to go.
Kropp, that's what Michigan does well. They keep you out from the basket. Average 2-point distance is over 7 feet, which is far if you think about it. I know it sounds close, but Mara's showing his presence early.
Here's Burnett in the corner. That 3 won't go. Offensive rebound, Lendeborg. One of the many things this team does well is rebound. 8th in the country in rebound margin, and the flush for Adai Mara.
And that's what else they do well. There's nothing Northwestern can do. Morez Johnson holds the dunker. There's no help for Mara, and Cadeau just throws it up to the sky with his left.
There's little help for Mara anywhere in college basketball. The way he has played this year, and really, no pun intended, grown into his role with Michigan.
I see what you did there. That's definitely has, but also Cadeau as well.
Count that shot for Martinelli and a foul, and he'll go to the line for a 3-point play. If Northwestern's going to hang around, it's got to start with Nick Martinelli.
It's got to start with Nick Martinelli, and he's got to do exactly that, draw fouls. He gets to the line almost 7 times a game. He gets the switch. That's what we talked about. Damari Burnett, much better matchup for him than Morez Johnson Jr., and he takes advantage of it. Go to the line early, and he's got to get guys involved as well. Hopefully now Michigan starts to bring the double there, opens up 3-point shooters, and Northwestern's going to have to knock some down.
It's been a little bit of a slow start to the month of February for Nick Martinelli. 12.5 points per game, shooting just 28% from the floor in the first 2 games, but 3 points to start this one.
Yeah, I mean, when you're carrying the load like he has for this Northwestern team, you're bound to have a couple off games, but I know he's juiced up. It's an opportunity for him to have a moment despite the slow season.
Mara on the run, no, and there's Martinelli, good box out to get the rebound. Looking to push a little bit west, tough catch for Kropp, somehow got rid of it to the corner for the 3, and Jaden Reed gives Northwestern the early advantage. Quick ahead it goes into the corner, and Burnett finding Johnson inside. No, Martinelli will start it the other way again, chugging to the other end. And Martinelli bumped by Burnett, and that's 2 on Damari Burnett.
That is big right there. Damari Burnett is like a machine for Michigan. He's going to knock down shots. He's going to play defense. But first, see that. Jake West with the one-hand pass, and Kropp saves it falling to the ground. Eyes everywhere for the young fella, and that's exactly what Northwestern has to do. 11 points a game in transition. They got to steal some easy buckets, and an extremely good start.
Reed jump stop, fades away for two, and Northwestern by 3.
Nothing like the best team in the country coming into your building, get the juices flowing. Northwestern answering the call early.
And an 8-0 run stops there with the layup from Morez Johnson.
Yeah, and that's the youth right there. We saw Coach Collins really coaching up his young guys. Jake West fell asleep in the corner there. Roddy Gale's not a shooter. Coming from the corner, you've got to have heavy help to force Roddy Gale to make that shot.
It is an extremely young Wildcat lineup around the veteran Nick Martinelli. Martinelli, top of every scouting report, dumped it to Singleton, and a foul is called. Offensive foul against Northwestern, and it's going the other way. For Chris Collins, in his 13th season, this is a very young group. He's at even 500 in his career with the Wildcats. And a turnover by Martinelli. Not a foul, they just called the travel, so the turnover. And Chris Collins sees his team back on defense. And we've got a whistle now. A foul is called, and that will be against Northwestern. Jaden Reed may have had a hold underneath his first.
Yeah, Kevin, you asked, what does Michigan have to do to win a national title? So you're seeing it early. They've missed a couple layups, but that play right there, Nick Martinelli's out on the floor trying to guard Johnson Jr., and Elliot Cadeau just throws it ahead. We saw Dusty May in shoot-around talk about that. They're going to show, throw it ahead, make the game easy, play as 5, and they're virtually unguardable in that situation.
Here's Roddy Gale Jr. off the bench with Burnett's foul trouble, finding in the corner Elliot Cadeau. The 3 is short, and the ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Michigan. Chris Collins is looking over at his bench, signaling, we want to challenge, we want to challenge. He says, no, we don't want to challenge. Right there.
About as close as you can get right there. That's an incredible play. Effort by Elliot Cadeau as well. Energy in this building early, Kevin, is fun to be around.
And Lindenberg driving into the contact. Trey Singleton picks up the personal foul, his first. And you bring up a good point, though, Jordan. The number 2 team, presumptive number 1 next week, comes into your building. You're going to get a little bit excited. As a young team, why not? What do you have to lose if you give every single thing like Northwestern can do tonight against Michigan?
Absolutely nothing. Everybody expects you to come in here and lose by 20, 30 points. Michigan's had 5 games in single digits this year, 5. So what do you have to lose? Go out there, have some fun, let it rip, and enjoy the night.
10 to shoot. Here's Cadeau. Now Gale. Morrow with 4 to shoot. Working against the much smaller Tyler Kropp, trying to dislodge him. The no-look pass to Cadeau for the 3.
Outstanding from Mara right there. Northwestern just barely messed up that rotation. Jaden Reed dropped a little bit too prematurely. Mara kind of throws a no-look out there. Great recognition from the 7'3" man.
Here's Reed, who got free, and a 3 for Reed, his second of the night. 3 for their last 3 from the floor, and Reed's got 8.
Hasn't shot it particularly well this year, but he can shoot it.
And the ball knocked out of bounds by Tyler Kropp, and a timeout on the floor. If you look at a game in 4-minute segments, Northwestern wins the first 4 tonight at home. 11-10 Northwestern, but for Michigan, when you got a 7'3" guy that can pass like this, what a weapon, Jordan Taylor.
You talk about growing into the role. Look, Nick Martinelli stunting. He's doing his thing. Freezer right here. Jaden Reed, look at his eyes. Jaden Reed's going to jump right here. Eyes going that way. He drops. He sees it like a book, like Patrick Mahomes out there. Throws it to Cadeau. His second 3 from the angle. 4 assists, 4 buckets for the Wolverines. They got this offense humming.
But Northwestern with the 11-10 lead. They've hit 4 out of their last 4 shots. Northwestern 4 for 5 from the floor to start. Lindenberg from the top of the key. Rebound cradled by Kropp. And a foul is whistled underneath.
There you go, Northwestern. It's a huge win right there. If you got Lindenberg shooting from 3, 15% only over his last 5 games, 30 on the year. They're clearly going to give him space to shoot to keep him out of the paint. There's a matchup right there they want.
Inside Martinelli and a foul. Gale Jr. picks up his first personal.
Roddy Gale Jr. got his arms up in the air like I went straight up. But listen, there is nobody in the country, I'm bold, I'll say that, better than Nick Martinelli at getting up under a guy's arms, throwing his arms into you, getting to the foul line. A lot of James Harden, if you will, in that, very crafty. And he's racking up fouls on these Wolverines very quickly.
Crop out, Arrington Page off the bench for Northwestern. Martinelli with 4 early points. (13-10). Here's Cadeau on the move. Page with the challenge. And now quick push ahead. Cherubino lays it in. Angelo Cherubino with his first 2, and Northwestern up 5.
That is what Chris Collins has wanted from Arrington Page all year, rim protection.
It is just the 9th time this year that Michigan has trailed by 5 or more, and they're now down 3 with a chance to cut it to 2 with Lindeborg at the line.
And that's, again, just a tough action to guard. Old Perez Johnson Jr. hit Lindeborg in the pocket.
Well, we welcome those of you who watched Ohio State and USC win for the Buckeyes at home over that USC squad. Kevin Kugler, Jordan Taylor, Andy Katz, Northwestern by 3 over Michigan. Lindeborg at the line for a 3-point play. It's been a hot start, Northwestern offense. 5 of 6 from the floor to start. 2 of 2 from 3. 3 of 3 at the line. Michigan 5 of 12 from the floor. 2 fouls for Namari Burnett early, put him, one of the 5 starters, on the bench. And here's Jaden Reed. You talk about a hot hand. He's got 10 already.
Jaden Reed, this is what they expected from him. A lot of contributions early. Page with the block. Reed scoring in the mid-range and from 3. This is what Chris Collins expected when he got these guys.
LJ Kaysen got some space, count the bucket, and a chance for one more at the line.
Yeah, you know, Kevin, I got to do my first game on the network last year with you, Michigan, and it was fun to watch this kid, LJ Kaysen. You can see the potential last year, and he's growing into it this year. Better from 3, up from 24 to 40, playing with great pace, seeing the game. The game is slowed down for him, and that's an example right there. Get to that mid-range, using the side, bump, hoop plus the harm.
A guy Dusty May identified when he was still at FAU. In fact, Kaysen, of course, signed with FAU, and then when Dusty May left to come to Michigan, LJ followed him. 4.5 points per game last year, and this year came in averaging over 7 per game.
But he's one of those guys where anywhere else, he probably could be averaging 12, 15 points a game. Just shows how much guys want to play for Dusty May.
Looks like there's a challenge on the play ruling out of bounds in favor of Northwestern, and Michigan has opted to challenge.
Michigan is challenging the out of bounds call. It is now under review.
Brian Dorsey, one of our 3 officials, Vern Harris and Earl Walton over there with him. And a coach's challenge. Another look at it here. Who last touched it?
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
Right there.
Yeah. Good eye from Dusty May from the other side of the court.
I have to say, in these challenges, more often
The challenge
than
is
not,
successful. As a result, Michigan will have the ball on the baseline with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Have one more challenge to retain the game and also retain their timeout.
on out-of-bounds challenges, more often than not, those challenges have gone the way of the challenger. Coming up, the Wednesday Night Hoops triple header continues when the Nittany Lions take on the Huskies next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
Dusty May got on that pretty quick, though.
He
I don't
did.
even know if they used the iPad for that one, but
So Kaysen will inbound for Michigan. Inside Mara, out of bounds, and that time it'll belong to Northwestern. Tried to get it to the big guy, and he couldn't connect with him, in a turnover for the Wolverines.
the Wolverines are the most efficient team in the country from 2.
And a Wolverines. Turnover, Kaysen driving inside for two. We're tied at 17.
Jay Kaysen right there, right on cue. Most efficient team. They're only 5 for 9 now after that. Northwestern has been giving them problems, but...
And a turnover again. That pressure is really thwarting this young Wildcat attack. And a second consecutive turnover from the press. On the floor is powered by Ram trucks. Nothing stops Ram. And that lineup on the floor for Michigan has really attacked, especially that freshman in the backcourt, Jake West.
Yep, Jake West. Great game last time out. 18 points, but a little vulnerable defensively, physically, and schematically.
Kenny, shot rebounded by Lindeborg. Here's Gale. Seeing more time with Burnett in foul trouble. McKinney inside, and it's out of bounds. It'll belong to Northwestern.
Michigan up to 5 offensive rebounds right now. We knew that was going to be an issue. Northwestern 6-4 on the glass overall, but what Northwestern is doing, a great job at swarming around that rim. Again, only 50% right now from 2 for Michigan. It's a far cry from the north.
So now they break the press, and Mara at the back end to clean it up. Singleton gets that loose ball for Northwestern.
Yeah, somebody got to tell Di Mara this is not volleyball.
Didn't get the kill. But another turnover for Northwestern. Then poked free of Mara, and it's Sheravino who gets it right back. Here's Singleton. Bounce underneath to Sheravino, who's blocked by Mara. And it goes out of bounds off the shoulder of Jordan Clayton. Safe to say the 7'3 junior Adai Mara is changing things at the back end for the Wolverines.
Yeah, as I said before, he's got the wrong sport right now, but it's working out for the Wolverines. But Sheravino did the right thing. Listen, you can't back down in games like this. You got to go right into him, put his shoulder into Mara's chest. When you're 7'3 with what looks like a 10-foot wingspan, it's always going to be tough.
But that's the way you attack the press, right? You break it to score.
You break it to score, you break it to get to the rim. Unfortunately for Northwestern, I think you're going to have to knock down a couple threes and maybe spray out there.
Really nice play by Arrington Page to bat that away. Here's West on the run, ripped off the glass by Lindeborg. Kaysen to the other end, taken out of his hands by Arrington Page, and then he steps out of bounds. It'll stay with Michigan, but my goodness, Yaxel Lindeborg.
Saw Mara having all the fun. He said, let me get it on the party. Cuffs it on the glass. Look at his head. Oh my God. Head up at the rim. Come the other way. Arrington Page not backing down either, though. But I love the energy in this game, man. There is no back down from Northwestern right now. It's not working out how they want to, but they got to keep coming at Michigan.
I think there's a clock issue. They're looking at the shot clock. It's at 20 right now, and they're trying to decide if it should be a 20 or if it should be countdown from the norm. And it's going to be set to 27 on the shot clock. So the clock corrected, and it's Michigan ball. Will Cheddar off the bench. Here's McKinney. A little strong on the 3, and then the rebound right out of the hands of Clayton. Another chance for Michigan. Kaysen. Here's Mara. Cheddar in the corner. The triple short. And Northwestern's dodged a couple here, Jordan.
That was outstanding rotation from the Wildcats. Nick Martinelli came to help Page in the right low man spot. Martinelli ran from one corner to the other to close on Will Cheddar, who's a 38% three-point shooter.
Here's Page. He'll try from deep, and he hits. Arrington Page, 24% from 3. But he hits his first attempt of the night.
Listen, make no mistake about it. That is Michigan's Achilles heel. A shooting big, and Page has first-round talent. The way he's playing right now, he gives Northwestern a chance to beat a lot of teams.
Here's West. Pull up from the elbow is good, and Northwestern's extended that lead back to 5. How about these Cats?
Just a simple drag screen. They're going to go under. Jake West says, I know I'm a freshman, but you better respect me.
That Iowa game earned him some respect. He was terrific. Michigan 0 for their last 6 and a turnover over the last 2.5 minutes. Cheddar stepping into a 3, top of the key, and that'll pinball out, and the foul is called underneath against Michigan. Trying to clear space for the rebound, and it's Trey McKinney with the foul. Northwestern ball. Andy Katz. Hello, Andy.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, there's only been one team that's knocked off Michigan. That was Wisconsin. And I spoke with head coach Greg Gard earlier today about How do you solve Michigan? What is their kryptonite? Well, in that victory, they scored 91 points. They had 15 threes. You've got to draw Adaimara out. You've got to have other players score from the perimeter, whether it's threes like that or deep twos, and it can't just be Nick Martinelli. One thing that Chris Collins was saying earlier today during their shoot-around, the practice earlier in the day, is the belief that we can do this, but we're going to have to be able to score to be able to pull this off. So far they can, and they have.
And how about the work underneath to get that offensive rebound and put back for Trey Singleton? It's a 7-point advantage for Northwestern.
Michigan can be susceptible to the offensive glass at times, especially when you pull Mara out, to Andy's point. Of course, Coach Guard over there.
Mara needed a little help and didn't get any, and it's a turnover.
Looks like he just kind of gave in right there. Kind of gave in, dribbled.
Look at Cadeau jumping out of the way, and an easy two for Singleton.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah, definitely hope he's okay. He seems to be moving all right. Hyperextension right there. He's a tough kid, man. Talked to Coach May earlier. How good has he been all year? There's so many good guards in the Big Ten. Probably doesn't get all the love that he deserves.
This is his 98th straight college basketball game tonight. Page thought about that triple again. He's attempted 2 tonight. Martinelli with 5 to shoot. Gonna have to hurry. Splits 2 defenders. The scoop to the rim. No, but Singleton is there. Almost got the and one. He'll go to the line for a pair after the foul on Merez Johnson. That's his first. It's a huge Saturday night hockey doubleheader. First, the Wolverines face off with Penn State in a top 10 matchup. Then Wisconsin battles Ohio State. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
Fantastic rebound by Singleton right there, his second in a row. And again, Michigan actually among the bottom of the conference in defensive rebounding, giving up offensive rebounds, and percentage-wise at least. Trey Singleton exploiting that early, but offensively, Ayrton Page made a mistake right there. He had Merez Johnson Jr., Martinelli had Will Cheddar. He pitched it to him to go set a screen. That's not the matchup you want if you're Northwestern. Singleton bails him out.
It is a 9-point lead for Northwestern. Michigan hasn't scored in 4 minutes. Here's Cadeau trying to change that. Explodes to the rim and a lid on that basket. West will pull it out of there. On the push, it kicks into the corner. Out to Martinelli and the extra pass. Singleton leaning in for the triple. Northwestern has the largest lead that any team has had this year on Michigan. Close to a turnover. Lindeborg near the sideline. His 3 won't go. Rebound Northwestern again.
Trey Singleton is playing out of his mind right now. 16% from 3. He knocks it down, but he's a beast on the glass. Goes and helps Page right there and clean it up.
Crowd becoming a factor. Page on the run. Here's Martinelli toeing the line. The triple won't go. Chasing it down. Page can't get there and out of bounds to Michigan. Well, the stakes tonight are high, certainly, for both of these teams. For Dusty May's squad, they've got a chance to be the #1 team in the land. Arizona lost Monday at Kansas. If Michigan takes care of business, they're likely #1 next week. It has not been a great start here in Evanston.
No, not for Michigan, but for everybody else in this building it has.
And that will stop a 12-0 run with an emphatic flush for Yaxel Lindeborg.
And that looks more like it. Just a great set right there. You pop lift Merez Johnson and lift Cheddar. You got to bring help on Cadeau. And that leaves the sideboard coming out of the corner.
Here's West. Extra pass Page. Page going to work against Johnson. Up and under to the rim for 2. How about Ayrton Page?
Listen, you bring the big boys to town. The talent comes out. Ayrton Page, this kid can play. He hasn't had the best year. He's got all the talent in the world. He's putting it on display right now.
Only 6 points per game over the last 10. He's already got 5 in the first half. Cadeau blocked off. Through the defense to Burnett. Back out there with 2 fouls. They need his offense.
Yeah, that's a mistake right there. They're doing a great job at crowding the paint. But there's Lindeborg and there's Amari Burnett on the same side. You got to leave Lendenborg and close out to Burnett.
West, drop off Martinelli, the leaner. Nobody does that little leaning floater better than Martinelli.
Nobody plays in that short roll better than Northwestern right there. It's incredible execution, not much defense for it.
Timeout on the floor with Northwestern up 11.
Northwestern playing well, but Michigan trying to figure it out. Here's a single high screen. You bring away Arrington Page, and then here comes Lendenborg coming out of the corner because Singleton's got a tag.
Look at the rebound margin this year. Michigan is plus 10, 8th in Division I. Northwestern is negative 3.4 on the glass. When you're ranked 318th, there's not a lot below you, Jordan Taylor. And tonight, they're plus 1 against this giant Michigan team.
Yeah, it's not great to be 318th, and we talked about what they need to get from guys other than Martinelli. Trey Singleton's been fantastic on the glass.
There's a rebound for Johnson, second chance opportunity for Michigan. Rez Johnson fouled as he bumped his way in against Tyler Kropp. That'll be the first on Kropp, 15th foul on Northwestern.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in on an island with Rez Johnson Jr. But these young guys from Northwestern here early, Jake West, Tyler Kropp, and Trey Singleton have answered the call for the Wildcats.
Hand off to Cadeau, trying to lob it inside. Johnson with the catch, and then the little slither to the rim for 2.
And that's harder to guard for Northwestern because it's coming from the angle, that lane line, as opposed to the middle of the floor. The 2 side is further away to help right there. Really tough, really great design by May. Tough to guard for Northwestern.
There's Martinelli, still 7:10 to play in this first half. Pounding that dribble inside against Gale, and the rebound off the miss for Johnson. See if Michigan can string back-to-back buckets together. Johnson looking for the triple. On the line, but couldn't pull it in, and Martinelli with a rebound.
Right now, Northwestern, again, Johnson can make that shot. Shooting about 38% on not a lot of attempts. But Northwestern, you'll live with that all day.
Michigan allows just under 33 points per first half this season. West, contested triple. Rebound, Cheravino looking for it, and it's tipped out by Lendenborg, and a second chance coming for the Cats.
Northwestern is doing right now, they are contesting every single rebound. I don't know Michigan, I'm not gonna say they're not used to being challenged like this, but they're just like pets right now. They're bringing the gnats to the barbecue. They're in Michigan's face on the defensive and offensive side every single time down.
And Michigan clearly not enjoying those gnats at this picnic.
Nobody likes that. I want to eat my food, man.
Cheravino, here's Martinelli. He'll pull up the 3, pinballs out, and there's a good rebound for Lendenborg. He'll start it up the floor. McKinney got an open look from 3. It will not go on an offensive rebound and a foul underneath. Michigan just 3 for 15 from 3 as we check in with Andy Katz.
All right, how about for this potential good omen? The last time that a number 2 ranked Michigan team came here to Evanston, it was 1977, and it was a 99-87 victory for Northwestern, led by this man right now, the all-time great Billy McKinney. He had 29 points. Talked to Billy before. He remembers that game like it was yesterday, the last time a second-ranked Michigan came here to Evanston.
And he talked about that and said, Andy, that they had lost to Michigan badly 3 weeks earlier in Ann Arbor, and he said the fans were laughing at the team. He said that drove them, and he said he told his mom and the young lady he was dating at the time they were going to beat that team here that day. He said, I'm surprised they didn't check me into a hospital to have my brain examined after that prediction.
Billy McKinney, a man of his word, clearly.
And another turnover by Michigan. They're all out of sorts offensively.
They are, but a lot of that has to do with Northwestern. The way they're rotating, swarming, in the right position, it's energy, really. And when you have that, it's hard to make reads. They don't have a lot of playmakers, Michigan. Elliot Cadeau is one. Kaysen's improving. Yaxel's a solid playmaker, but he's more of a downhill guy. So when you can swarm, you can force them into some bad decisions and make them a little turnover happy.
Handoff to Jaden Reed. He's playing with 2 fouls. Had a quick offensive start. He's looking for 2 more, and that jumper will drop. He's got 12. And now we've got a turnover again. That's 6 for Michigan in the first half.
We saw this a little bit against Nebraska. Elliot Cadeau had 8 turnovers in that game. Similar type, nobody's better than swarming than Nebraska, but Northwestern doing their best iteration of it here. And Jaden Reed having his one shining moment right now. He is balling. Another thing, Kevin, to keep an eye on. We talked about that foul trouble. Perez Johnson Jr. also with 2 fouls. That's their best matchup for Nick Martinelli.
Here's Reed around the Martinelli screen. Now Martinelli working against LJ Kaysen. 6 to shoot. Martinelli gets past Kaysen. That floater may have been tipped by Mara, and McKinney comes out of the pile with it.
I think Adai Mara, the one person who can deter Martinelli's floater.
Nice drive, everything but the bucket there. Offensive rebound, put back in a foul. Lindeborg just lurking underneath that basket, able to put that one in.
And that's the dangers of Michigan right there. Elliot Cadeau getting downhill, putting pressure on the defense. Got to bring help in rotation. That leaves the Monstars at the rim ready to rebound everything.
It is similar to the Monstars with this group for Michigan.
Sean Bradley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, got them all out here.
Lindeborg looking for the 3-point play, and he finds it with a little help from that rim. 2 fouls now on Kropp, 2 on Reed for Northwestern, 2 on Burnett, 2 on Johnson for Michigan.
I like with this 1-2-1-1, just kind of put Martinelli in the middle of it as opposed to the back of the press and have him catch it. Cherubino's a good option as well, though.
There's Reed trying to close that trap. It's Martinelli who spins around his defender. Back it goes to Reed, and Martinelli, quick flip to the rim.
That's exactly it right there. He catches it in the backcourt, pushes it ahead, ultimately catches it right in the middle of that floor. And Nick Martinelli in the middle of his zone is about going to be a 90% shooter.
Kaysen zips that to Lindeborg. McKinney blocked off. 10 to shoot now for Michigan. Cadeau driving. Ball tipped around. Who wants it? The 7-3 guy gets it, but he's got to shoot it. And it's going to belong to Northwestern.
That was an outstanding fight by Jaden Reed. He got switched on to Lindeborg. He fought just long enough to get Martinelli back over there. And by the time Michigan saw it, it was too late.
Page for 3. Halfway down, it pops up into the arms of Elliot Cadeau.
He would have hit that. He would have brought down Welsh Ryan and Soldier Field simultaneously.
Oh, beautiful. McKinney just weaving through traffic for the 2.
Yeah, great job by Mara as well. Set a little screen in the middle of the paint to free up McKinney. That freshman can go, man. Majority of his shots are 3s, but he can get it done in the paint as well.
Not sure a 7-3 guy ever sets a little screen.
It's a little skinny.
Tipped out of bounds by Cadeau, and it will belong to Northwestern, and a timeout on the floor. What a first half for the Cats. Up by 8 at home. Number 2 in the land is losing tonight. Northwestern shooting 52%, but if you're just joining us, Jordan, why is this happening right now?
All the small things, energy and execution, protecting the rim. Michigan's only 50% from 2. I know that sounds all right, but for Michigan, it is not. They're rebounding the ball, competing there, and drawing fouls. Nick Martinelli has drawn 2 on Morez Johnson and Damari Burnett.
And as a result, and Michigan struggled from 3. They're 3 of 15. They hit their first 2. You do the math. They've not done much since. Only 1. But part of that's Northwestern playing that way.
100%. They're not just missing, but they're in the low man position. They're tagging. They're rotating. And all the things that Chris Collins loves for his team to do that they haven't always done this year.
Martinelli trying to lob it into Page with that shot clock winding down. And that's a shot clock violation. Good defense off the timeout by Michigan.
Yeah, and that right there is where Northwestern and Nick Martinelli really over the last couple years of his career has gotten into trouble. Catching the ball in the corner with the double team. He's made strides this year. The ball's got to come out faster because with a team like Michigan, as big as they are in that corner, you're loaded up. It's hard to see anything.
There's a dime, Mara. Lindeborg, 13 to shoot. Lindeborg on the drive. That floater will not go. Mara's tip. His second one drops in. Chris Collins was saying, hey, that's offensive interference. It was in the cylinder.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think that Go-Go Gadget arm just went over there and tipping it a couple times. Not much Page could do with that one once Mara already had position.
7'3" length, a reach of 30 feet. Page back out to West. The skip into the corner. Jordan Clayton, the three. And Clayton, just 29% on the year, drains a three in the corner.
Jordan Clayton is a gamer. Came off a red shirt last year. Scored 13 against Washington. He could play.
And Cadeau with the answer. Good ball movement to find the open man on the wing.
And again, good rotation by Northwestern. That's a third three from that spot for Elliot Cadeau. Going back to that Northwestern three, it's great recognition by Jake West. Attack the elbow, slide from Clayton, take advantage of Michigan, who's playing in the gap tonight. Normally they stay more attached, three-point shooters.
Lob down low, tough catch for Martinelli, and as he went out of bounds, tried to save it. It ends up with Kaysen, and Michigan now on the push. Kaysen, Lindeborg, good catch. Page challenged that shot and ends up with Clayton.
It's a Page. That's the second time tonight he's challenged the shot. Northwestern has missed Matt Nicholson this year because of that, but Page bringing it tonight.
Halftime show presented by State Farm coming up. Mike Hall and friends from our studio just down the road in Chicago. 42-34 Northwestern.
And I'm going to be honest with you, as many good players as there are right now, not a lot of them can do what Eric Page just did.
And a turnover again. Michigan airmailing the pass from corner to corner. And Adai Mara and everybody in the maize and blue looking a little befuddled right now in this first half.
And again, that was looked like maybe a foul right there. But for the officials, when you're that aggressive and you're swarming, it just looks normal. It's tough to call. Elliot Cadeau looking around. Another good defensive stand for Northwestern.
Martinelli against Cadeau. Spins baseline. Floater, no, but a foul is called. Cadeau picks up the personal, his first. 7th team foul on Michigan, and so to the line for two goes Nick Martinelli.
Kevin, that was heads up right there by Martinelli to keep the dribble. A lot of hands in there. He could have picked it up, but he knew he had Cadeau. He knew that Arrington Page is out there, to Andy's point earlier, stretched the floor out. Adai Mara kind of in no man's land. He got to play one-on-one against Elliot Cadeau.
Martinelli into double figures now with 10. Reed with 12, Martinelli with 10 in this first half, and Dusty May's squad on the road down by 9 late first half. 10-point lead. Sheravino coming in, and Martinelli will get a breather here. He's got 11 points, 5 rebounds in this first half. What a half he's played. Cadeau blazing to the other end of the floor. Lindeborg. Mara spinning baseline. Page trying to block him off. Good defense by Page, and a foul is called. Bodies hit the floor on the run-up, and that personal foul is going to go on Jordan Clayton of Northwestern.
LJ Kaysen just doing his best. What seemed to be Trey Singleton earlier in the game impression, attacking the glass. Just a tough break. Jordan Clayton boxing out. Just kind of one of those fouls that's bad timing.
So a 1-and-1 with the 7th team foul. That'll be LJ Kaysen heading to the line. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Northwestern's outscored Michigan 7-2 at the stripe in this first half. Gale Jr. back on the floor. One more to go for the sophomore from Lakeland, Florida, LJ Kaysen.
The way Arrington Page is playing right now, he's actually turned some of these matchups for Northwestern into advantages. You got Nomarez Johnson right now because of foul trouble. Roddy Gale's got one. Amari Burnett with 2. Will Cheddar over there on the bench. You can get those switches with Martinelli. It puts Mara in a tough spot because of the way Page is a threat.
Last Wednesday, Northwestern scored 44 total in the loss at Illinois.
What a difference a week makes.
What a difference a week makes. Martinelli sizing up a three. That's off. 4 seconds until halftime. Lendeborg will push it up the floor. Lendeborg with one. Trailing, triple up and off. Halftime has arrived. And a score that's going to send a little eyebrow raise around the country. College basketball season in full swing, and the second-ranked Michigan Wolverines down 9 on the road at Northwestern.
Art's getting close.
Andy Katz is with Chris Collins of Northwestern.
Well, Chris, a week ago, 44 against Illinois. You got 44 in this half. How much has this gone to script offensively?
Well, our guys are being aggressive and they're being confident, and that's what you have to do against this defense. They swarm you, they have athletes. You have to attack pressure with strong drives, and then you got to kick. The few times we didn't, they were blocking shots, so we got to keep playing that way.
You know what Michigan's capable of. You've got a lead now. What are you going to stress in that locker room?
We got 20 more minutes. I mean, we have to play with that kind of intensity, that kind of fight. We have to continue to rebound the same way we did in the first half.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris Collins has coached Northwestern to a win against a top 20 team in each of the last 6 years. Is this going to keep that streak alive? Halfway home as we'll head to the State Farm halftime show with Mike Hall and company coming up in a moment. A lot of basketball left, but Northwestern with a 9-point lead over second-ranked Michigan. Our game leaders are brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Elliot Cadeau, 9.6 assists. Jaden Reed off to the terrific start, 12 points and 3 assists to pace the Wildcats. Welcome back courtside alongside my partner Jordan Taylor. I'm Kevin Kugler. First 5 minutes of this second half feels huge for both of these teams.
Yeah, well, Northwestern came out through a Mike Tyson-sized haymaker. They got to dial up the Evander Holyfield one here in this first 5 minutes. It's extremely hard. Michigan started to take a little bit of momentum late. 8-0 points in the paint last 8 minutes. The hardest thing to do as a basketball player is to regain that energy in the second half. They got to keep doing all the small things.
Let's check in with Andy Katz. Andy?
Well, I talked to Dusty May walking onto the court. He said, first of all, offensively, they're only making one pass and then shooting. He said they're playing too cool. They've got to get back to being grimy. And I will also tell you, halftime wasn't that long because the players were out with 9 minutes on the clock, but the halftime show was still going on. So they were just hanging out in the huddle, in the hallway, not in the locker room for quite a while.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. You see Michigan 4-0 this year when trailing at halftime. This is the largest deficit that they've faced at a half this season, which kind of underlines the dominance that you've seen from Michigan this year. They also have faced the largest deficit they've seen in a game this year earlier in the half when Northwestern had a 12-point lead. Previously, they were down 11 to Nebraska. So Northwestern's had some advantages early. We've got a pause in this. Vern Harris, our referee, left the court for a moment and has not returned to the floor. So we've got one referee, and now he's making his way out onto the court, and Vern Harris is ready to go. Smile on his face. I believe he left his whistle in the locker room.
Man, that's like leaving your shoes back there. Lock in, baby, lock in.
He's got his whistle. All 3 referees are now whistled up.
Out of foreign territory for Michigan. As you mentioned, 4-0 after trailing. They're gonna be locked in here.
And Reed with the air ball caught underneath by Lendeborg. Foreign territory for both of these teams. Northwestern hasn't had a lot of opportunities going 2 for 11 in conference play to get these wins.
Coach Collins set his shoot around. You don't think we can win tonight, don't show up. And these Wildcats, all of them are here.
How about Kropp with the steal? And there's a goaltend. Lendeborg, as West put it up against the glass, count that bucket, and Northwestern's lead grows into double figures.
That's huge right here as you see Lendeborg go up there. West does a great job getting it to the glass. And that's a big steal right there, especially after an air ball to start. Again, energy's gonna be a little low coming out of half. How do you regain that momentum?
And will drop it to Mara. A little hesitation, kicks it out to Burnett. That 3, no. Rebound, Johnson battling for it, and it ends up with Kropp. On the push, it's West, lobbing Martinelli, tough catch. Gathers it to Kropp. Kropp will take it up and floats it over the big man.
How about Tyler Kropp? Coach Collins going into the locker room, said you gotta go aggressive. Says, Mara, I don't care how big you are, monster or not, you can't see me.
Largest lead of the game, largest deficit Michigan has seen all season. Lendeborg's three won't go. Tapped out by Merez Johnson. Remember, Merez Johnson was hampered by foul trouble in that first half. Burnett, deep three, will splash that one down.
He said Damari Burnett, most disciplined player he's ever coached. And you can see it. He turned himself from a 17% three-point shooter to a 40 over the last 4 years. Kid is steady.
He said that to us earlier today. We were talking with him and asked him to repeat it. I was like, the most disciplined you've ever coached?
I mentioned the man be doing yoga in the back of the room on the film.
Martinelli, fadeaway baseline, no. Rebound, batted into the arms of Johnson.
I think Martinelli's a little tired. He settled for jump shots going back to that first half a couple times. He's got to attack Johnson, try to get him off the floor. They get him a third foul. They're in good shape.
Damari Burnett inside, spins, batted out, and it ends up with Martinelli. Oh, behind the back dribble for Martinelli. Working against Cadeau. Pinned by Lendeborg.
You can see Lendeborg the whole time doing his best LeBron impression.
And then Merez Johnson can't corral that long pass. Quick push ahead. Martinelli to the rim. That one's not blocked.
Not that time.
Cadeau will drop it. Mara running to the rim. Count that bucket and a foul. Adai Mara as Trey Singleton fouls. He'll go to the line for a chance at a three-point play.
Michigan with a concerted effort right now to find Mara in that pocket. They got into Damari Burnett three earlier. He just missed, and then here again. Check it out. Look at Lendeborg timing that up. He was timing that up from half court as soon as Martinelli went behind the back. A little bit of a la LeBron James at Golden State, but then the next time Martinelli says, you know what, this time I'm gonna just go hang up on this rim. Leave it up to no chance. Two great players going at it here in Evanston.
And Mara completes that three-point play. That's not the strength of his game. He's a 49% free throw shooter, but he will get a breather now as Roddy Gale Jr. comes in. So a much smaller lineup. That's relative for Michigan. They've still got Lendeborg out there. They've still got Merez Johnson out there.
Roddy Gale is not small either.
No, he is not. Three minutes gone in this second half. It's a stalemate to where we were at halftime. Martinelli, four to shoot, skips it out. West on the attack, drop off Singleton, one on the shot clock, count the bucket, and the foul.
What a pass by Jake West, the Philly Bull. Great pass from Martinelli. Look at that, the left hand wraparound. Gale gets there a little late. And look at the young kids. The young kids on the block are hyped at Welch Ryan. They're having some fun.
Singleton strong on that opportunity for an extra point. 11 the lead for Northwestern over number 2 Michigan. Early second half on the Big Ten Network. In the corner, triple won't go. We've got a foul underneath. Prop and Johnson working underneath, and that foul's going to go on Jake West, who came in to try to help out.
And that offensive rebound, give credit to Elliot Cadeau. That was a crazy pass. Saw that play developing before it happened. Wildcats rotating. Because they're rotating so fast, they open up that offensive glass.
Cadeau, problems with the dribble. Reed bats it out of his hands. 6 to shoot, Merez Johnson. The three in the corner, Lendeborg. No, rebound tipped up, that won't go, and it ends up with Martinelli.
Lendeborg three-point shooting struggles continue.
Reed, the lob, trying to get it to Arrington Page, and it's out of bounds. Turnover back to Michigan.
Arrington Page trying to go up there with the gods. Almost went to go get it, just couldn't finish. There, not sure. Out of bounds.
It did not look like the ball went out of bounds.
Yeah. Trey Singleton, I thought he would have had a layup there.
How about that? Jake West to the other end. 2 more for Northwestern. The freshmen are making big plays tonight for these young cats.
Listen, when you from Philly, you done seen a lot regardless of where you from. And this kid has come to play.
And a timeout, Michigan.
Jake West coming to play. Check him out right here. He's in a position to help. He doesn't, he reads it perfectly. Gets his hand in the passing lane. And it goes to elevate. He's got the Wildcat source.
I mean, right now would be where I would be incredibly dizzy. You'd have to help me down to my chair, or maybe out to the restroom.
I think it's the lack of reaction.
Was that a loop, or was that just continuing?
You got to check on him later.
There may be no later for him. Lindebor. Here's Cadeau, 12 to shoot. And a foul. Trey Singleton reaching in with his third personal foul. Timeout on the floor with Northwestern up 13. February 24th on the Big Ten Network, the story of Michigan's run to win the 2017 Big Ten tournament in Washington, D.C. after the plane crash when taking off from Michigan. That is going to be a good one. We've got an advanced look at it, and I can tell you it's really good. You're going to want to watch that. Elliot Cadeau launching the three. It is strong. Rebound underneath from Michigan and a foul. That'll be on Angelo Cheravino, his first, team's fourth. You mentioned this earlier. It's gotten worse for Michigan from 2-point percentage.
Yeah, you see it first in the Big Ten, and it's really because of Northwestern's ability to swarm. Dusty May talked about how they were going to play in gaps and try and make it tough on Martinelli. Well, Northwestern has done just that to everybody on Michigan. Some uncharacteristic missed layups around the rim, and take that away. Michigan settling for threes. That's a win, Northwestern.
See Kaysen trying to get it inside, couldn't get it there. 10 to shoot. There's Gale. Bully ball inside and ripped out of his hands. Page comes up with it. Now the push for Reed. Martinelli in the paint. Floats it, no. Page soaring in for the offensive board.
Page showing up again. Martinelli's got to go one more. Jake West is feeling it. He's got to kick that out to the young fella.
Here's Martinelli sizing up Gale. Spinning inside. Patience. Little strong. There's Page again. Working against Johnson. Count that bucket for Arrington Page.
Arrington Page is at Northwestern. He's a big-time former recruit. He's showing why right now.
Drive baseline, and Gale's going to earn a trip to the free throw line. Arrington Page having himself a game tonight, Andy Katz.
And as you guys know, because we talked about this before the game, one of the big issues with Page this season has been how engaged he would be. When he came over, there was a lot of high expectations coming from Cincinnati for him to have a major impact on this team, but the consistency from him of not being as engaged on a regular basis game to game has been the issue. That is not the issue in this game against Michigan.
Yeah, Andy, if you're a Wildcat fan right now, you're both ecstatic and sick at the same time, because you're like, where's this guy been? This guy is crashing the glass. He's contesting at the rim. He's making fadeaway twos. This is one of the best front courts in the Big Ten when he's playing like this.
And we've seen it in flashes. We saw it at DePaul. He had 22 points in that one. We saw it at Wisconsin. He had 21 there, but it's just been hit or miss for Arrington Page. There's no doubting the athleticism and the skill set. Cheravino on the run, off the window. Angelo Cheravino. And Northwestern leads Michigan by 16 points in the second half.
Hello, Cheravino, another guy great at getting downhill. His one flaw is his three-point shot, but as good of an athlete downhill driver as you'll see in this conference.
Lindebor baseline, dump off Johnson, no, but a foul is called. Martinelli, a little bit of a hip shove, and that's going to be foul number 2 on Martinelli. How about Angelo Cheravino getting his share of the action?
Yeah, again, when you break the press, you go to attack. Cheravino is 6'7". Get off me, little man. And then going up to the sky over Marez Johnson Jr. That is a tough finish. Angelo Cheravino is no stranger at playing above the rim, but right there, showing off the touch.
Marez Johnson's first free throw attempts of the night. He's a really good free throw shooter, 80%. Now, look to the bug on the bottom of your screen, that score bug. Look at the foul number for Northwestern. 6 for Northwestern, 1 for Michigan. The next foul for the Cats puts Michigan at the line the rest of the way.
And again, this is what Michigan is accustomed to doing, bringing it to you early in the game. Northwestern was drawing the fouls early. Right now, especially with Nick Martinelli now with 2, Trey Singleton with 3, you got the wrong guys with fouls as well, so you got to be very careful about that. Michigan's got to attack the rim.
Need a little more patient bringing it up this time for the Cats. There's Page, turns the corner in the paint, fades away. Arrington Page short, but not a bad shot.
Not a bad shot. That's the spot where you got to. That's the spot where you got to get to and win to beat Michigan.
Oh, the hammer for Roddy Gale Jr. First field goal in nearly 4 minutes and done with emphatic fashion from Roddy Gale.
Yeah, you talk about Michigan. Where do you go when you're down 15? And Dusty May talked about they can go anywhere. That's a gift and a curse. Right now is Roddy Gale, who's been super aggressive over the past couple minutes.
It's Reed to work. Jordan Clayton, 8 on the shot clock. Reed with 5 to shoot. Into the paint, kick out, Martinelli, 3. Gale the rebound. Can Michigan string some shots together now? Entry low block, Morez Johnson. Spins baseline. Page gave him that baseline and he took it.
Yeah, it's just a great read right there by Johnson. More physical than Page naturally, and Page was trying to compete, but just felt them spun out.
Timeout, Northwestern. Chris Collins can feel this one slipping just a little bit. It's still an 11-point game, but now the veteran coach trying to manage this for his young Cats.
And you knew this was gonna come. Right here, look at it, Page, bump, bump, bump. Just a great feel for the game right there by Johnson Jr., understanding he's got that baseline. You hear the roar from the crowd. It's the first time we've heard the people from the maize and blue get a little excited.
March 10th through the 15th, the 2026 TIAA Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament returns to the United Center in Chicago. Tickets are on sale now. Head to big10.org/MBBT to secure your seats today. You look at these standings, and this is updated to the moment. Michigan at the top, and everybody was starting to look at this and say, boy, if Michigan comes on the road, beats the team that's towards the bottom in Northwestern, which they still very well may do, they've got a 2-game lead with 6 to go. If Northwestern pulls the upset tonight, that top spot in the Big Ten is very much up for grabs.
Yeah, it gets really interesting. It's going to be interesting anyway. Michigan still got to go to Illinois.
Yep.
Obviously play Sparty last game of the year, so no slouches, but Northwestern trying to get in on the mix.
Off the timeout, see what Northwestern can do offensively. Reed driving to the rim, and he draws the contact and the foul. Working on Roddy Gale Jr., and Roddy Gale Jr. with his 3rd foul. So the first Michigan Wolverine to have 3 fouls on his tab.
Nick Martinelli is 4 for 16 with 13 points. And Northwestern is up 11. We talked about Arrington Page. We haven't talked a ton about Jaden Reed because he's got a quiet 12, but he's answered the bell in different ways tonight. Got in foul trouble early. Michigan was making a little bit of a run, came in, knocked down a mid-range jumper right there, seemed to be stuck, Northwestern, and he just draws contact with a bigger Roddy Gale, gets to the line.
Pretty good work off that timeout by Chris Collins. Draws up the aggressive play, get in there and try to get to the line.
Yeah, what they got to do now, though, as well, is they got to get Nick Martinelli engaged and confident and involved. Try and get a good switch, get Morez Johnson Jr. off.
Kaysen able to drive past Reed for 2.
And that's been the bugaboo for Reed all year long, his defense. He's got to understand, if you're going to give up a blow-by, you got to push it to bodies. You can't give up the lane line, got to push to the middle, especially Michigan likes to seal right there.
On a bounce off the foot of Adai Mora, and that'll take us to the under-12 media timeout. Through 8 minutes in the second half, Northwestern has extended their lead by 2.
So much. Matt Nicholson last year for Northwestern, Kevin, was so important to what they did. He's a good basketball player. Nowhere near as talented as Arrington Page, respectfully, but when he brings some of the things that Matt Nicholson brought last year to the defensive side, this is an NBA player that we're watching right now.
Martinelli off the inbound. going to work for Northwestern, up 11 at home over second-ranked Michigan. Jaden Reed launching the three. Strong, and it's batted out of bounds. Looked like Mara the last to touch it, and it'll stay with Northwestern 20 to shoot. Give it a look. Ooh, I don't know. Well, that last touch.
I think the last touch by Mara looked like Crop got it, and that's where those long arms come to bite you. Very, very rare, but again, Tyler Crop right there on the glass, challenging for those rebounds, buying extra possession.
Now Reed going to work against the 7-3. Mara broke his ankles. The three won't go, and Johnson the rebound. Reed 0 for 3 from the floor in the second half after the 5 for 5 first half. McKinney looking baseline, fades away against Clayton, can't get the roll, and a foul is called underneath, and that'll be on Adai Mara.
Yeah. Wow. Great block out by Tyler Crop. I thought for sure that was going against Crop, but that's a great call. See that left arm of Mara just pulling him back. And again, Tyler Crop is out here competing, frustrating these Wolverines with physicality.
Now, are they going to look for a hook and hold here? I believe they're going to the monitor to look for a hook and hold. Dusty May has asked them to look at this, them being the officials, and we'll hear what the official word is after our officials converse.
Michigan is challenging the foul on 15 blue for a hook and hold.
So let's check out Tyler Crop right here. Looking to block out. Yeah, left arm, yeah, it's kind of grabs Mara, and tough to tell from that angle entirely, but definitely a case for the Wolverines.
Look at it here. And we saw it from the front angle where you saw the arm around Crop, but was it around him because he pinned it against him?
Yeah, and that angle right there kind of gets a clear picture. Definitely looks like he's pulling Mara into him.
That's close.
Very close.
And the problem partly is the angle is so different because he's 7'3". Normally, if you've got two posts in there, there's a pull down and they're of equivalent height. That is not the case in this battle.
And that contact happens, to your point, because he's 7'3". Mara's left arm goes into the side of Tyler Crop's head. Not sure what you are supposed to do in that situation. Almost reactionary.
Vern Harris looks like he's trying to solve a puzzle.
It's a big call coming.
It is a big call. The ruling on the floor was a foul on Adai Mara. Let's see what the word is.
See that pull. Mara kind of comes off balance there, ever so slight. So.
Here we go. Brian Dorsey will tell us.
Looks like this is going to go the way of the Wolverines.
Upon review, the call has been reversed. It's a flagrant foul, hook and hold on one white. As a result, 15 blue will shoot 2 free throws and possess the ball at the end line for 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Boy, as you said, Jordan Taylor, that is a mammoth call. It was going to be Northwestern ball with an 11-point lead. Now 2 free throws coming and the ball for Michigan. Mara not a great free throw shooter. He's 1 for 1 tonight. 49% on the year.
49%. You still say ball don't lie?
I think you can. Yeah, I think it's fair. And the crowd roaring. Back-to-back misses. And it stays an 11-point game. But it is Michigan basketball.
Still Michigan ball instead of, it would have been another foul on Mara, another foul towards Michigan's team foul count. Northwestern close for that double bonus.
Lindeborg on the drive. That is a tough 2 for Lindeborg.
Tyler Crop right there. You got to understand, there's a time to be tough and there's a time to bail out. You got to go down right there and take that charge. You got no chance against Lendeborg coming downhill that fast.
Michigan 8 for 20 on layups tonight. Well, Clayton thought about that. He's hit one tonight. 7 to shoot. Working against Mara. Here's Martinelli with 3 to shoot. He'll launch. Can't hit. Crop trying to save it. Throws it back towards midcourt, and it's out of bounds to Michigan.
The ball went off Axel Lendeborg's right arm. I'm not sure if Northwestern's going to see it. I don't think they are, but it looked from our angle like Crop made a heck of a play.
Ooh, that was close, Jordan.
See the ball change trajectory right there. Change rotation, I should say.
Michigan's hit 4 of their last 5. Open in the corner, wide open look. That 3 will rattle down. Here comes the number 2 team in the land. They're back within 6.
They love playing with Mara lifted. He's a great passer. The back screen from Lendeborg forces the reaction, and you leave a 40% three-point shooter wide open. West
lost it. Johnson with a takeaway. Ahead to Kaysen. On the run, stumbling and a foul. Was Kaysen fouled by Martinelli? That's the ruling, his 3rd. Martinelli can't believe it, neither can Chris Collins.
Nick Martinelli ran right by Kaysen. Oh, that is tough. That is tough.
Another look at it.
Listen, Devin, Nick Martinelli is so good. We talked about at throwing his arms out. What LJ Kaysen did right there is throw that left arm into Martinelli. A heads-up play by Kaysen to create that contact. And a tough call for Nick Martinelli.
He can't believe it. His 3rd, 8th team foul. 5-point game coming up on 10 to play. Michigan within 4. They've been down in this half by as much as 16. It was 58-42. It's now 60-46. Pressure mounting on this young Northwestern team. The freshman West to the rim. It's blocked away. Michigan slamming the door right now on the Cats coming. Hopes and a slam on the other end from Perez Johnson. 2-point game in Northwestern in some trouble now. Martinelli ahead to the rim and foul. And now we've got whistles and now we've got Page and he is upset and Martinelli is upset. Page separating Martinelli from further problems and Chris Collins is livid.
That was a hard foul right there. Nick Martinelli had his mind up. As soon as he caught that ball, he was going at Mara.
Crowd's looking at it on the monitor. The officials are gonna look at this to see if there's anything extracurricular here.
He's coming all the way, and actually it looks like, ooh.
The arm's coming down.
Previous foul on 15 blue is under further review for potential flagrant foul.
That left elbow is going to catch Martinelli right in the jaw. Again, that's one of those plays, Kevin, to your point, you see it right there. Boom, boom. That's one of those plays because he's so big, just the trajectory. Obviously, I don't think anything malicious. Mara has gotten a little chippy over these last couple possessions with a couple Wildcats, including Page. Caught Crop with an elbow right after the hook and hold.
You see Martinelli reacting with disfavor to that foul from Adai Mara.
Nice way to put it. Axel Lendeborg playing a little bit of peacekeeper.
The key will be, is it deemed excessive in nature, and that will help it rise to the flagrant 1. Didn't spend a lot of time looking at it. Brian Dorsey is going to tell us right now.
Common foul on blue 15 has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul. As a result, 2 free throws, possession on the air line with a shot clock remaining at 21 seconds.
Chris Collins was mad. Now it's Dusty May's turn to be upset.
Yeah, that's so tough. It's, again, now you can't control your body. It's 7-3 coming down right there, but letter of the law, probably a bit excessive.
Martinelli waving on the crowd. Wants them to get engaged in this game. 2 shots for Nick Martinelli.
Kevin, I don't think there's really a right or wrong call. Somebody's going to be mad in that situation, so.
Again, I think Adai Mara is so difficult to officiate with that height and that length.
What's he supposed to do right there? He's coming down. Obviously, accidentally hits him with the left elbow. Technically is excessive. But also, I think, after the hook and hold, and maybe a little bit of a makeup call as well. A lot of things at play right there.
So a 4-point game, Northwestern with the advantage and the ball. 9:26 to go. The intensity level has risen exponentially in this building. Gotta get it in quickly. Finally gets some help from Page. Page backing down into the paint. Left hand floater drops. Arrington Page with 2 more.
Goodness, that is tough. He had the mismatch. Mara was coming over to smack that into the second row.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful screening up top to find Kaysen alone.
And you can't switch Lendeborg right there. Northwestern had a mandate. You can't do it. He's setting the back screen. And Mara can pass. Arrington Page is going to have to back up and give up that shot to protect the rim.
Page looking to dribble against Mara. Back out he goes, Martinelli. He'll launch the 3. Martinelli hits. 4 for 17 from the floor before that, and 0 for 5 from 3.
Nick Martinelli can score with the best of a much improved 3-point shooter.
What an answer! L.J. Kaysen calmly strokes the swish.
They talk about that 1-shot pass, but now gamers are coming out right now. Late in the second half, L.J. Kaysen, you got to step out and guard him.
As much as Michigan has struggled from the floor, they're 5 for their last 5. Heating up at the right time. Here's Singleton. Popping out in the corner. West with a triple. Up and off. Kaysen the rebound. Cats lead with 16. It's down to 4. Michigan looking to carve further. Kaysen. Stop and start, and Singleton with the foul. His 4th. Foul trouble mounting. The tension rising. The stakes are high on the Big Ten.
Stars come out at night, Kevin Kugler, and Arrington Page is here. If you're at home, just take a deep breath. Look at that. Ooh-wee, that's sweet. The left hand, everybody just chill. And not too often do you see Michigan having to bring help to Adai Mara. They got to because Page is rocking. And now Nick Martinelli is on the scoreboard with the 3-pointer, his first of the night. Arrington Page can be the guy for Northwestern to help them bring this home. Extremely talented.
1-1 coming up for L.J. Kaysen. It was 58-42 Cats at the 14:04 mark. Michigan has gone 9 of 10 from the floor since then. 6 of those 9 are dunks or layups. Paint points had come at a premium early for Michigan in this second half. They have started to stretch an advantage there late in this second half.
Yeah, we saw it late in the first half as well. Closed the last 7 minutes, 8-0 points in the paint. And again now, doing the same thing. And talk about that go-to guy, foul right there.
I believe Will Cheddar underneath gets tangled up. His first personal, 15th foul. You saw the foul trouble on the way up the floor for Northwestern. It's a little more significant for Michigan. Not the same level of trouble. The inbound batted by Mara and out of bounds.
Yeah, the biggest one for Northwestern, probably underrated, is Trey Singleton, 4 fouls. Talk about those points in the paint. His presence in that first half on the glass was tremendous. And now you look out there, got 2 sub-6'1" guards against a bunch of 6'9", 6'5".
Here's Page. going to work. The skip tipped into the hands of West. Hard bounce, Martinelli. Deep two, won't go. McKinney with the rebound. Michigan looking for the tie or for the lead. They last led at 10-8. Kaysen. Trying to dislodge Martinelli. Curls around Mara. And Page nearly had it taken away. 15 to shoot.
Kevin, at the top of the show, you asked about Michigan winning the national title. We talked about go-to guys. LJ Kaysen's rocking right now, but that's a situation. Northwestern made a mistake. They switched Jake West onto Yaxel Lendenborg, and I understand how talented Kaysen is, but you got to go to Yaxel right there and let him punish the freshman.
In it comes to Lendenborg. Hand off to Johnson. 9 to shoot for Merez Johnson. McKinney around the Johnson screen. The triple, and Michigan leads 68-67, all the way back from 16 down.
Misdirection right there. You set the back screen for Lendenborg. You think you guarded well. Well, here comes the dribble handoff for a 40% Trey McKinney. He knocks it down.
West at the elbow. Like he had an open look, and the youngster didn't take it.
He did. He was taking that early in the game.
Reed splits. Johnson slamming the door.
That's what happens. Jake West was shooting that shot with confidence early in the game, early in the second half. He's got to keep coming right now. Jaden Reed is not known for his finishing at the rim. It's going to make it even tougher with that man down there. He is feeling it right now.
Tough inbound. Mara against West. West 6'3", Mara a foot taller. 6 to shoot. Reed, hop step, drive, elbow jumper, and Northwestern back on top.
Oh, great adjustment by Reed. Went all the way to the rim the first time. Learned from his mistake. Pull up right there.
And a lob, and you had Lendenborg being held by Jake West. Was it a hook and hold situation? Underneath. Does this rise to a hook and hold?
I think he let him go right there with just enough time, but there you go. That's great recognition. Talk about the adjustment from Reed. Good adjustment by Kaysen right there. Eyes up. Realizes the mismatch that time.
And Lendenborg sees that one spin out. 85% at the line. And Michigan 10 of 17. This is a 74% free throw team on the year. Tonight, 59%.
Lendenborg really struggled with his jump shot and just his overall touch as of late.
Tied at 69. Just the second time we've been tied tonight.
Lendenborg 75% from free throw over his last 5. So.
What a night we've had on the Big Ten Network. USC Ohio State was a dandy. This one coming down the stretch, a tie game.
2 nights. 2 nights in a row in Big Ten basketball. Crazy.
Page. And a foul. Hand check by Adai Mara. You can hear the Michigan fans in this building. Michigan, travels well. They're everywhere, and they have infiltrated Welsh Ryan, but they were held in check by this Northwestern team just like Michigan was.
Can't hold the good man down, and right now, everybody in this arena, in the lower bowl at least, is on their feet with 6 minutes left.
Batted out of the hands of Aronson Page. Still 19 on the shot clock for Northwestern. 6:17 to play. Martinelli, step back 3, all the way around the rim, and Johnson the rebound.
Martinelli selling for a lot of jumpers this game. At some point, he's going to have to get to that sweet spot.
5 for 20. Johnson, Sheravino takes it away, and it's out of bounds. Sheravino was trying to flip it back off Merez Johnson, couldn't quite get the control of it to do that.
Yeah, heads up play. Michigan's a great cutting team. Sheravino, last second, realizes the cut right there, just couldn't quite get it off his body.
There's Mara to the cutter, Lendenborg.
Lendenborg starting to make his presence felt right there. Getting to the rim, shot not falling. imposing his will and his size. Michigan doing this only 5 minutes this half, and Elliott can go.
How about the passing for the ball?
Northwestern's gonna have to make a choice to really pressure that or back off. Can't really pressure, he's 7'3", you gotta back off and help out.
Reed jumps it into the paint. Sheravino couldn't handle the pass, and a trip. Sheravino got around McKinney's ankle. It's gonna send McKinney to the line for 2 free throws, the double bonus the rest of the way for Michigan.
Called it. Now it's any ticky-tack foul for Michigan. They're at the line. McKinney, a great free throw shooter. But again, Jaden Reed, Jake West, man, Martinelli not shooting great. These guys are going to have to get to that mid-range, make the shots. They got to be confident in what's got them here.
8 points for McKinney tonight, all this half. First free throw attempt of the evening for McKinney, and he rolls that one home. Jordan mentioned how good he's been at the line. 34 for 36 his last 14 games, including that one.
And you know you're good when you don't fall for the jinx. Just knock it down like it's nothing.
You got to time it. See, I waited till he made it, and I mentioned it. Then we talked about other things, so nothing else matters anymore.
But here's the real test for Trey McKinney in his career right here.
And he rolls it home.
Got star written all over him.
73-69. Michigan by 4. Their largest lead in this game was a 5-0 start. Here's Page, the handoff to Reed. Jaden Reed, kick out, West, open 3. Freshman couldn't convert, rebound McKinney. He'll push it ahead, Lendeborg, nice catch. Entry, and good play by Martinelli to bat it out of bounds.
Great pass from Jaden Reed on the other end. Great execution. See right here, Martinelli does a great job battling.
That's close.
All right, yeah, really close. I think. So they were going to try and send a sub potentially to stall out inside. Oh.
I think that last finger of Martinelli, the deciding thing that may have kept Chris Collins from challenging.
You saw last minute, tried to get it in there at the last second, couldn't quite do it. So saw something that maybe they liked.
Kaysen, lob tomorrow. And Michigan with its largest lead of the night at 6.
Things starting to get away from Northwestern. Again, back to that original action from the start of the game. Hold the low man.
Timeout taken by Northwestern. 75-69. 4:33 to play in this one.
Now we saw this early in the game. Throwing it to the rim to Adai Mara. See, it's Trey Singleton's got to stay there because Marez Johnson, if he comes over, it's just going to be a drop to Marez Johnson. That's the damn to you if you don't. It's going to be a dunk either way, and Mara starting to feel it as well. Getting this crowd into it.
Well, Saturday, catch a men's hoops doubleheader. First, the Cats, and you don't think what's happened tonight's got Nebraska's attention? They challenge 7th-ranked Nebraska. Then Penn State battles Oregon. Coverage begins with a tip-off show at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Nebraska had a big comeback of its own last night before Purdue prevailed against the Huskers in overtime in a thriller in Lincoln. And you see what's happened in this one, fueling the Michigan comeback from 16 down. 11 of their last 12 made, and Northwestern's just had a hard time making shots.
Had a hard time, and I think it's Nick Martinelli is just gassed right now. He can't get to the rim. He's settling for jump shots, and Michigan's starting to wear on him. But good basketball following you everywhere, partner.
Well, and that's the point you're raising right there, guys, is the reason Michigan is the #1 team in the country and will be if they can hold on here and beat UCLA. Their depth. It's like I'm watching here like hockey ships. They just come in with different lines. No other team in the country can go 9 deep with 9 legitimate starters, and whoever's hot can come in. They're going in and out with Mara, the front line, the backcourt. Now McKinney contributing, Payson. It's just endless.
It's one of those things, Andy, where, again, Elliott Cadeau has played 5 minutes in the half. LJ Kaysen averages 7 points, and they're running him at point like he's an all Big Ten player, which he really might be capable of. But they just come in waves and waves and waves. Tough to sustain for a team like Northwestern.
Yeah, 6 different Wolverines with at least 9 points, and Martinelli blocked. But there's Kropp. That's a giant bucket for Tyler Kropp in Northwestern.
That's huge, and that's what Martinelli has to do. He's got to dig deep. He's got to get to the rim and force that reaction. Good things happen when he does.
Can they shut down a Michigan offense that is roaring right now? Not with passes like that. Mara to Johnson, and Perez Johnson will go to the line for a chance at a 3-point play.
Michigan has gone to that play time and time and time again. Throw it to Mara in the pinch post, run the back screen, and right there was a little stagger actually. But Tyler Kropp and Northwestern have to make a decision. They need to back all the way off of Mara. Mara's making long twos. You tip your cap, you say good job. But I think you just back off of him and play aggressive everywhere else. Don't let him pick you apart. If you pressure him, he's too tall. He sees over everything anyway.
Johnson at the line looking for the 3-point play, and he finds it. Mara's matched his Michigan high with 6 assists tonight. About a 7'3" post that can pass like that. Go big to big with Perez Johnson. How do you defend that?
You don't.
Yeah. Reed will bounce it to Martinelli. Double shows Martinelli into the paint. Floater won't go. There's Mara with a rebound.
I think Northwestern, you got to get into some inverted screens. Let Martinelli handle, set a step up like Michigan's doing. Force them to make a decision with him going to the basket.
Oh, Mara all alone underneath. Lindeborg finding Mara.
And Michigan. Now just again, Wildcats are gassed, not finding that would not happen at the beginning of this game, leaving Mara wide open at the beginning of the rim, or at the rim, excuse me.
11 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists for Mara.
Coming off of 24 the other night.
Step back triple, grazing the front of the iron. Long pass ahead, Lindeborg on the drive with the hammer. Axel Lindeborg. They've hit 14 of their last 15 shots to take control away from Northwestern. Here's Martinelli. Singleton will try the triple. That's short. You're seeing a lot of short shots now for Northwestern.
Short shots, late game, more dunks.
That pass caught the underneath of the rim, and Mara couldn't dislodge it from there. Timeout on the floor. Wednesday night hoops delivering. Lindeborg with the hammer. And the Michigan bench. Studio's on this graphic. If Dusty May hangs on against this win, it'll be win number 50 in his first 61 games with Michigan. That'll put him in between Bruce Weber and Thad Matta, fastest to get to that 50-win mark.
Yeah, Dusty May, really a joy to talk to him every time we get to cover Michigan. Just great perspectives on the current state of the game, how to coach his guys, and how to get buy-in. And it shows up every night. These guys are having fun. They're playing together.
Mason with the triple. That's off. Shot clock was winding, but Mara the offensive rebound. And Mara fouled as he turns down that baseline. Aronson Page with his second, and Mara to the line. And the way Mara shoots free throws for Aronson Page, that's not a bad foul.
You took it right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that. You know, hopefully he misses 1 or 2 of these. You got to come down, try and find a quick basket. Do your best to battle back, but talking in the break, this Michigan team, man, they just, you hit them, you play with such an emotional high to start that it's impossible to maintain throughout the game with as much depth as they have.
And it's one of those teams, and you see them every once in a while, where there's not necessarily the alpha male, the guy who every night goes out and gets you 28 points. For Michigan, it's one of 8 or 9 guys that could go out and have that big night.
And what's crazy, we talked about this earlier, of course, but now seeing it live, it's almost like the 9 guys, they all come with this ball of force at the same time, too. Again, started with LJ Kaysen and Roddy Gale a little bit, transfers to Yaxel, and then Mara dunking on the rim. Trey McKinney got in the mix a little bit. So It's an impressive basketball team.
They love to share. They can pass from all 5 positions as that one's knocked out of bounds to the State Northwestern ball. 21 assists on 30 made buckets tonight for Michigan. They are terrific sharers, and it's 1 through 5. They're 5th in the nation, averaging 19 assists per game.
Yeah, and Dusty May talked about, hey, it's about the players and what they can do, and it has been, but you got to give him credit for finding the right set. They went to that back screen, pinch post back screen, for about 5 minutes. So you get players like this and coaches like that, and you get this result.
Potent combination, up 12, and Northwestern hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. Michigan in this second half was down 16 points. McKinney with the triple, it won't go. Johnson back tap, and Michigan keeps the possession. Here's Kaysen on the drive, the lob broken up by Arrington Page, and then a foul on McKinney.
Northwestern, you love it. Still playing hard. Arrington Page, great read right there. LJ Kaysen trying to play around a little bit and bring this roof down in the favor of the maize and blue, but good read there by Page.
Chris Collins has got to be pleased with what he has seen tonight from Arrington Page.
Yeah, and you know, Chris Collins has seen basketball at the highest level, so there's no moral victories, but yes, to your point, you got something. We asked him, what's a win for you moving forward? And it's the development of these young guys, and to get to see Jake West and Reed and Singleton play well tonight. And then on top of that, you get Page going, look, get to the Big Ten tournament. You never know what's going to happen.
They go to Nebraska on Saturday, then they host Maryland here next Wednesday before they make the road trip to Bloomington. So see if this is something that the Cats can build on, despite the fact that it looks like Michigan's going to survive a big-time scare.
You know, if you're Northwestern, this should give you something too as well, like ruin the rest of the top.
And a takeaway to the rim, blocked away. Finding it is Reed for 2, and Northwestern back within 8, 83-75. And a timeout taken by Michigan.
Chris Collinsworth wanted an offensive foul on Yaxel. Well, like he had Yaxel elbow into the throat of Martinelli, but
Michigan takes timeout.
So a timeout taken by Michigan. And what's next for Dusty May and company? Well, UCLA coming up on Saturday. And a showdown that, I mean, that's a week next week. At Purdue, and then DC to take on the 4th-ranked Duke Blue Devils before they're back home for Minnesota on the Big Ten Network, and at Illinois on Fox at the end of February.
Look at that, and Minnesota has knocked off 3 ranked teams at home. I know it's on the road for them, but I just say that because that schedule, there are no slouches, not one. Talking to this Michigan staff before the game, you mentioned, man, you guys, they make it look easy at times, but they made it clear that it is all but that.
Now, tournament resume, I'm going to be confident and say they're in that big dance. I think they'll make the tournament.
Yeah, you know, Mike DeCourcy going out on a limb there, calling them a 1 team.
Quad 1, 8-0. Quad 2, 8-1. That one loss to your alma mater, the Wisconsin Badgers.
Listen, man, talk about giant killers. Another one for them last night. Good win at Illinois.
Boy, with that small number next to a team name of late, Wisconsin figures out a way to get a win.
John Blackwell, Nick Boyd. Win for Bucky.
McKinney trapped in the corner, and Jaden Reed says, I didn't do anything. And he says, well, the foul wasn't on you, Jay. It'll be Singleton, and Singleton has fouled out. So Singleton fouls out, and as Mike Hall mentioned earlier, that game underway at Washington, a 9-6 lead for the home team. We'll get you there on the Big Ten Network just as soon as we wrap it up here in Evanston.
Ray Singleton played a fantastic game, particularly that first half. You said it, partner. As soon as he got that 3rd foul, that was huge. That really slowed him down, kind of took him out of this game, and that was really the moment when Michigan started to impose their will a little bit, a lot of it.
So Steinbach with the 2 for Washington. They've stretched that lead to 5, 11-6. And Steinbach having a whale of a debut season. for the Washington Huskies. That game's coming up on the Big Ten Network.
Any other year, he might win Freshman of the Year, but
Yeah.
guy out there in Champaign.
Oh, that looked like close to a goaltend. Didn't get the call. Inside, Cheravino battling for it. Morez Johnson couldn't save it. It's out of bounds. Last touched by Johnson, and a couple of our photographer friends ended up with a post in their lap. Hopefully all the cameras are okay. Check the equipment.
Check. Looks like just make sure they got the shot is what it looks like. True professionals over there. The way Michigan competes at the rim is outstanding to watch.
Triple for Arrington Page. No. Long rebound and a foul on West. Looks like a foul called in the corner. And may have an injured Wolverine down there. And up comes McKinney, and they're going to help him towards the Michigan bench. So he ends up in the lap. Got wet and then slipped on the drink, and the slip is where he may have hurt himself.
They got to turn that back right ankle on the slip.
You saw the adult beverage go flying, and gets up and on his way to the bench.
Looks like he's going to walk it off. Glad to see him all right. Lady down there took quite a hit too. You know, so we got to check on her as well.
Well, her
Kenny is not small.
and replace that drink. She had been nursing that drink to the very end of the game, and
For a flagrant foul.
so they're going to look at this to see if it's a flagrant.
I don't know if she needs the drink. Time to shut it down now. It's time to take it home. Wednesday night?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, huh? Guess we are on college campus.
I would say Wednesday night's all right.
Wednesday night's all right. All right.
The appeal is unsuccessful. As a result, Northwestern will be charged a 30-second timeout.
And you know what? I believe it was water. She was an adult and had a beverage.
Not an adult.
Although, look at that cup back there. I don't know.
It's a lot of ice.
Producer Bart Fox and our director Andrew Blaustein are both suggesting it could be any beverage, so
I don't know.
I'll defer to our crack crew. They're still talking about that. All I know is Trey McKinney got the worst of that collision, but he seems fine now too, which is good.
Trey McKinney got the worst, huh?
I would say so.
Think so.
Well, he slipped down. She just stayed in her chair.
Trey McKinney is 6'5", 2 something, man. Boy, I'm glad he's okay. Goodness. She's unfazed.
That's why I'm saying Trey McKinney got the worst of it. She just shrugged it off. This is nothing. Look at her. She's nope. She barely blinked.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Might have to get her set a screen out here.
Exactly. Chris Collins may have her practice tomorrow. One more for Kaysen at the line. Leads 11 for Michigan.
Kenny's gonna go sit down next to Elliot Cadeau. Again, Kevin, I can't get over Elliot Cadeau. 5 minutes and they do what they do. It just shows how strong of a team unit they have.
Here's Martinelli back to West. And the freshman three won't go. Rebound by Michigan, and that'll do it. Michigan's just going to dribble this one out. Yaxel Lendebor clears the half-court line, and the Wolverines, big-time scared tonight. Northwestern had them down 16, 6 minutes into the second half. And the Wolverines end up winning by 12, 87-75. And Michigan now 23-1 and 12-1 in Big Ten play. That's going to do it for us in Evanston. For Jordan Taylor, for Andy Katz, for our producer Bart Fox, our director Andrew Blaustein, I'm Kevin Kugler. Michigan gets the 87-75 win. Dusty May, his 50th win as Michigan head coach. Out we go to Seattle. Penn State and Washington already underway. Guy Haberman and Don McClain on the